Okay, welcome back to PokiApi, where we're building a manager for interacting with the Pokemon database service, pretending that our front end um, is going to be built separately. We will probably, as I mentioned, be building a front end, but I want to work specifically on the manager for now, the middleware piece that you know. A lot of companies try to see if new hires could actually build. So up to now, we've got our return object built up. We should have our list of Pokemon with URLs built together. It's pretty straightforward. At this point, we can work back. We can go back to the controller and start to build our actual kick out. What kicks back to what would return out of the manager and go to a front end piece or whatever was interacting with the manager. Okay. So we did await this. So this runs, but when it kicks something back, it doesn't get assigned to anything. So let's assign something here. We want to var Pokemon return equals, and then boom, or wait. So now it assigns it. It should be a response object, a PokeSearch response, which has a list of Pokemon or errors in it. Now, one of the things that you really want to do in a more professional setting is have a logging system. We can build an adapter that I can have running in the background for logging purposes. As of right now, though, I don't have any way to interface with the logging database of any kind. We can hit that as part of a later project and then come back and insert it in here. I do want to talk about that because error logging or function logging is extremely important for debugging purposes, especially once you launch it. Once you launch a program or an application and it's running live, you don't have access to stop the code and see, well, why is this failing here? Your only option is to have logging that shows what's going on in the program. And I don't have a front end, or not a front end, a back end piece built yet for that. I can make a note. Like I said, we can do that as one of our things. Excuse me. Most companies will have a logging piece that already exists. Like it's going to be a rare. It's going to be a cold day in hell when people hire into a new company or into a company and they're the only person that's ever heard of logging. Like I really don't think that's ever going to happen, especially if you're watching my videos. Like you should not be that level of experienced. Or yeah. Anyway, so that being said, logging is super important. I don't have anything for logging here, that's the purpose for returning out this list of errors, because that's where you would go if Pokemon. Oh shit! If Pokemon return dot errors dot count is greater than 0, that's where you throw this exception. Throw new exception. String. Do we want to do string? Yeah, we'll do string dot join. Dot join. What is it? String dot join. Need a comma? How does that work? Did I set that up right? Yeah. Okay, so. If I remember right, so. Oh no, it's errors. Pokemon return dot errors. There we go. So what this is going to do is it's going to comma join all of these errors that could be in this list. Normally it's going to be one, but if there's more, it's going to join them all into a single string. And then this is where you would add log error ex.message to your error logs. That's what you would do here. And then because bad request can't have an object assigned to it, I mean, it can have an object assigned to it, but it's never like nothing is going to be able to get that object out of it. When bad request kicks out, it just says bad request. There is no data that can be given on the receiving end. So you could, like I said, you could kick out a response object here, but it is unreceivable on the other end. So the only thing that's going to kick out an object is this OK. Okay, the OK can kick out an object on a query return or on a get return. So we need to come up with our actual response object that comes out of the your get. Now, like I had mentioned in a previous video, I want to use something similar to what I use at work. We call it search results. And it's just an object. It's just a uniform object we return when whenever we have something querying one of our APIs. Everything is always contained in a search result object. And I will show you how to do that here in a second. So this is a response object for the return out of the API. Okay. Now, to do what we're going to do with it, I have to reference because I'm not 100% perfect with this construction. T. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not 100% confident on using T. I know you. I know what it does. Like you insert a new object here. It's much like the database here. Okay. Much like this is a call. Oh no, that's not it. Much like this is a call to a URL. You could actually do this as a T object that has the data in here. They chose not to do that because they want you to make a separate call, but it's the same thing. You could do search result API resource and get a list or whatever assignment of API resources. Now, where that assigns, I'll show you in a second. The first object we're going to add, or the first thing we're going to add in here is public int, and it's nullable. We're going to call that count. What that is going to be is it's going to be a count of items that are being returned. Okay, count of items being returned. Okay, much like with the PokiApi. Oh, actually, it's very much like named. Like it's literally this thing. So theirs is not nullable, but it returns a count of this, right? Whatever's being returned, there's a count of how many is in there. It can be 0, can be 1,000,000, but well, I don't think it can be 1,000,000. I don't remember how big an int can be. It's like maybe it's 100 trillion. I don't remember how big an int can be, but there is an upper limit. But it's anywhere in that range. It can be anything in that range. We're going to also do a next and previous, but ours are going to be different. What I want to do with next and previous is I think I'm going to make them both strings. I think at work we use URLs, but I don't think I want to use URLs here. I think I want to use strings. So public string, also nullable. We're going to call this one next. Get set. And this is a string containing data for next. What's the phrase I want? The next for next in pagination. Okay, so what that does is I'm going to return out a list, or not a list, a string that has a way for you to construct a call. It enables you to construct a call that gets more from the list. So like, let's say, for example, let me just pull up the PokiApi. They do something similar. So PokiApi v2 Pokemon blah 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 home. So let's just do this. Okay, there's 1118. They give you 20. Okay, they have a next URL, which if you were to send this one in, it would return the next 20 and exclude this 20. So you'll notice the first one here is Bulbasaur, and it goes all the way down to Eradicate, ID 19. So ID 20. So if I were to type this in, now I can't use this part because it's already typed in there. But if I type this in, now I should have the next 20, which is number 21, which is Sparrow, all the way down to number 40, which is Wigglytuff. Okay, that's how pagination works, and that's what that string is that we build. So that's what I'm talking about here. That's what this is. So that's the string, and for now I'm not going to be using that in the return, but it's an option. The next one is string question mark previous. Again, get set, and then it's a similar setup. It's a string containing data for previous in pagination. Now, what they did in I closed it. Let me reopen that. Reopen close tab. Cool. And here. Oh, that's not the one I want. Did I not close that tab? Oh, I did not close that tab. Okay, so what they've done with theirs... Oh. The object says it's an int. That's a bool. Why is that a... Their object claims that previous is a boolean, which should not be a string, but it's a string. Let's go back to the documentation and look. I'm 90% sure previous is a bool. They lied. It's not a bool, which means that if I were to actually make that call with my API, that would be wrong. Okay, so that would actually crash my program or throw an error because I have graceful handling. So if I go here and change this to a string, like their next, then it will work. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Which goes back to my search result. Same thing. I want it to be a string previous. Cool. Now this is where the T comes in. I'm going to have a public iList T. Okay. And we're going to call that results. Whoops. Not dot, just results. And we're going to get set list of results being returned. Cool. List of result objects being returned. And this should be non-nullable. Yeah, it's non-nullable. We don't want that. But we do want to make sure we have graceful null handling. So equals null. It can't be null, but it's going to be null. That makes any sense whatsoever. How does that work? Ones that work the next and previous are non-nullable, but I can assign them null. Interesting. Why does that work? Curious. That's fine. Equals null. Null literal to non-null. Can I do that? Do I do... Oops. Wrong button. What this does, I can't see. Oh, there is an exclamation there. Sorry, my laptop has 4K DPI and I can't really see it very well because it's super tiny, like it's like this big. Anyway, so what this does is it takes a non-nullable object and it gives it a nullable, or it makes it null. So it's weird how that works, but what it does is it says, well, this thing can't be null as a null type, but we're gonna put nothing in it anyway. And it, for some logic reason behind that, it's like, well, okay, that works, I guess. It's like saying, you know, I'm gonna give you a glass of water. There has to be water in it by legal definition. There has to be water in it because it's a glass of water. But I'm still gonna hand you a glass that's empty, and you accept it as truth. So that's how that works. It's very weird. It's very weird. Anyway, so this is going to be our new return object, okay? Which means that what we're going to want in here, we're going to figure out what we want in here for the controller return. Why? Oh, I put that in the wrong place. That is supposed to be in models. Let's put that here. Okay. Fix our path. Services dot response. Response. Oh, it's not response, it's models.response. Service API dot models dot response. Why is my autofill not working? Interesting. Okay, so my path, this namespace is super important too. This is how you path to those objects. When we do the using statements, I don't know if you ever noticed, your using statements for objects inside your project, they have to have the right namespace, and their namespace is based on their folder structure. So if you move an object, you need to make sure you update the namespace. Going back to my controller though, so what we want to return, this is here, this is where we're going to tell it we're returning a search result object. Okay, that search result object, we want to return a list of, oh, we don't need a list. The search result object is going to be a list of, for now we'll just do named API resource. API resource. I normally want to build a new object. Did that break? Oh, I broke this. There we go. Okay. So you're returning an action result, which is your okay or bad request. Your action result, if it's going to return a search response or search result that has named API resources in it. So I can't just return okay, I need to return a new okay with a new search result object in it that contains a named API resources. Okay. Put that there. So what we're gonna do, oops, what we're gonna do, what? Stop. What we're gonna do is this. Okay, we're gonna assign the count. Count equals, well, we need to know Pokemon return, because our Pokemon return is what we're gonna be dot Pokemon list dot count. We'll change this in a second. Okay. So this is how many we're returning, up to 10. Okay. Next, we're not going to have a URL there, so we're going to null it. Oops, that's again not what I want to do. Comma previous, we want that to be null as well. We're not going to paginate at all. And then our results is going to be our list of named API resources. So we're going to do Pokemon return dot Pokemon list. And that should satisfy that. So we're returning a list of Pokemon list. Now, I don't like passing in this return object directly and just getting this out, because what if we change it later? We want to make sure that this is clearly marked for what we're doing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a new var which is going to be a list of named API resources. So var list return, just because that's what we want to do, equals Pokemon return dot Pokemon list. Okay, and then if we make modifications to that, we know that we can that's where that happens. And then, oh shit, what did I do? There we go. Do list. What the fuck? Stop it. Okay. Return. Okay. There we go. Fix it. Okay. So now we're returning our list return instead of our Pokemon return dot Pokemon list. If we change our return, like this can be fixed independent of the call itself. So that's why I do that. Like I said, it's more about cleanliness. It is like, I mean, this is the same thing as this, obviously, because it's a direct assignment, but it makes it more useful for handling. Here's the count property. Dude. Oh. There we go. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So let's look at what this returns now. It should actually return a list of Pokemon. Sorry. Okay. Oops. Clicked out. Okay, let's go back to our EV search. Right? We said it should return 7. Okay, we got our 7. We got the 7 Pokemon EV with their respective URL. Gardevoir, respective URL. Seviper URL. Trevenant URL. Thievul URL. Gardevoir URL, and EV Gmax URL. Okay, well, what if we do EVE? Okay, that should be 3. EV, Trevenant, and EV Gmax. Cool. What about EEEVEEE, the one that was supposed to crash our program? Well, guess what? There's a bad request. Okay, this was your search did not return any results, and the front end should be able to take this bad request and throw a message like that. What about, let's just do some random searches real quick and see what's going on. So obviously AS returns a whole bunch of Pokemon, more than 10, but our 10 limiter does work. We only wanted to return the top 10 matching Pokemon, and it looks like we're doing it by ID, not by alphabet. We could order it by alphabetical. There is a viewer in the stream. Do you think it's better to organize by ID, or do you think it's better to organize by alphabet, like the alphabetical name when you're searching? Hopefully it's not just like somebody lurking and not responding. I think if you're typing a search for a Pokemon, you want that to be responsive in alphabetical. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and kill this for a second. Let's go back to our Pokemon service that does our search. We're going to filter it where, and then we'll do order by Pokemon.name ascending. maybe order by defaults to ascending. I think it defaults to ascending. Sorry, I'm talking about launching my next piece. My video editor just got with me. Speaking of video editor, you're gonna have to cut this part out. Okay. Let me make a note of that for him. Part 6 at 26 min. Cut out where I'm typing to you. Okay. Okay, so we have our order by. All right. Let's see if that orders alphabetically as intended. Might have to make an adjustment. So, oh, there we go. It did. It ordered it alphabetically. That's perfect. Ooh, wow. All of the megas are in like the 10,000 Pokédex range. These guys are planning ahead. We're not going to just skip over 1,000. We're going to skip over 10,000. Well, 9,000. But yeah, it returns them in alphabetical order. So let's go AST. How many Pokemon return at AST? Bastion, Blastoise, Blastoise, Blastoise. Castform, 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 Gastly, Gastron, Gastrodon. Good, it's working. All of that's working. Okay, so what we're going to do now is assume that in the front end, these will be displayed as a Pokemon is being typed out, a name is being typed out. Okay, so this call is going to happen quickly. So like it's going to go A, S, E, whatever, and it's going to do it fast. Okay, and the query runs super fast, so it should update pretty quickly. Then what the person's going to do is they're going to click on the Pokemon that they're looking for, or the count is going to become 1. So, like if I do this, boom, the count becomes 1. Oh wow, that count doesn't become 1. Well, I mean, essentially it would. What's the Pokemon that doesn't Gmax? Pikachu. Okay, Pikachu, Pikachu. Oh my god, there's so many Pikachus. Let's go Pichu. 1. Okay, so if the search becomes 1, we're just going to send this in as well. Okay, so the goal is that the user is going to go, all right, this is the Pokemon I want, click it, or there's only one result, and that URL is going to be passed in to us for the selection. So what we're going to do now, this controller is done, or not the controller, this portion of the controller is done. That's our service, Pokemon controller. Okay, this is done. We're done here. This get is done. We need a new get. Okay, not a new get, but a new get. Okay, so we're gonna do a public async task action result search result. Every time we do anything, we want to return a search result. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but that's a good start. Now we're gonna get Pokemon. Specific Pokemon, not a Pokemon list, but just a Pokemon, and we're gonna pass in a string called Pokemon URL. We might need to change that to a URL type, depending. Might have to I don't know. Might have to test it a little bit and see what's going to happen there. You might not be able to pass in a URL as a string in a get, because there's a chance that it will escape. If you don't know what escaping is, it's where that's where your call characters in the call cause the string to not be a string anymore, and the program thinks it's different, a different kind of entry. Much like with the let's go back to So much like with this, where like the dashes are there, if you try to pass certain dashes, I think the other direction, but if you try to pass certain dashes in, or a question mark, like if the string contains a question mark or an equals or any of that, it'll make the receiving part of the call think that you're trying to do more than what's there, and it'll cause your path to collapse. So there's a chance of that. So we might have to accept a URL, but we'll have to test it and see what happens there. We're going to do a try catch. As always, you start off with your try catch. Here. Okay. And then, as always, you want to at least set up your return. Right now, we'll just do OK and return bad request. Okay. And then you want to make sure you set up all this. We can actually almost copy this. We can copy it for now and then fix it. You don't want the path to be the same. You need the path to be different. If you try to do two things with the same exact path, you will cause issues. So this is not a call for getting a list of Pokemon names. We're going to get data on the selected Pokemon. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get data on the selected Pokemon. And this is going to return an object containing Pokemon data. So that's what we're going to do. We're return an object containing Pokemon data. We're going to create a new class for this. I am not going to use the pre-constructed class that they used here. Like I said, it's not a good practice to do this. I should not have used this return class, but because it's a super simple object, I didn't want to create a new two-field object just for that. It's simple enough. I can just deal with it. Now, for this one, I am going to have to create a new one, and I don't know what's going to be in it yet. So right now, we're just going to create a blank object, and we'll fill it in as we go. Okay, so this is going to be Pokemon detail response, because we're returning Pokemon details. Okay, and this is going to be an object containing Pokemon details. Alright, so going back to our controller, starting here, we know that that's what we're going to be returning, so let's go ahead and set that up for the return, PokiDetails response. We're going to do a new, do we need to? Yeah, we need to, just because it's for the return stuff. Well, we don't need it for that return. We can just do it, we can just build it here. I like to try to keep it in the try catch if I can. So Poki detail response equals new detail response. Okay, we don't know what fields are going to be in there, but this is what we're going to return. So in our OK, we're going to return the response. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get in our Pokemon URL. I don't think we'll need to, because we're intending for this to be a system that handles the input. I don't think we need to verify anything. As I said, we do need to change our path, so we're gonna change our path to, well, what are we getting? We're getting Pokemon details. Okay, and we're gonna pass in this Pokemon URL. Want for those to be things. Now we need to pass that Pokemon URL down to our service, so we're going to have to build an interface that handles that as well. We're going to do a var Pokemon detail search equals await. We're going to underscore our Poke, because that's our stuff. We're going to get Pokemon details. That'll be our function. We're going to pass in the URL Pokemon URL. Okay. We know that that's what we're going to do. Okay. We don't know what we're going to get back out of that yet. It'll probably be a oh shit. I name schemed this improperly, because this will probably be the return from the service. So we should actually add a new class. This should be, just make it Pokemon details. This will be our return out of the controller. So let's fix this, because we screwed this up. So we're just gonna change that. Control R, Pokemon, Poke. Oh, son of a bitch. You renamed the class. Can't do that then. Can't do Control R. What you can do though is type it out once, Control C, Control V, Control V. Fixes that. Okay. Now that we're set up here, we can set up our service. It's very much the same setup as what we were doing before, or our interface, I mean. We should comment that while we're here. So let's do this. Interface for dealing with Pokemon service. Okay. This is a method for getting list of Pokemon searched. Again, we're returning a list up to 10 of Pokemon to match search criteria. This one is going to be a method for getting it can accept the Pokemon ID, and from the get Pokemon list you can extract the ID. I think that would make more sense. That's true. That's true. On the front end, we can extract out the ID from the URL, or we could do that here. Like we could. We could do that in the Pokemon service where we're generating our list. Totally do that. This is the most back end we're going with this, because our back end, the adapter, the most back end piece is the API source. So I can't get it from. I could. I'm not going to make a separate call for all of those Pokemon though. I'm going to have to string parse it. That's a good point though. We'll come back to that. Method for getting details on selected Pokemon. Okay. And this is going to return object containing Pokemon details. Now this is where I changed the name. It was get Pokemon details, right? Let me go back to the controller and make sure that that's no S. Okay. Pokemon detail. Okay. It's really quick if I just do this, copy it, go into the service, go down here, go past my try catch, and then put it there. Public async task, blah blah blah. Should comment these because this is important. I believe and I could be wrong, but I believe this is a correct place to use inherit doc. And the same thing goes here. One of the co-workers at work tells me that inherit doc is very hard to use properly, but I feel like that's a correct place to use it myself. Return. Okay, so, oh, I'm not waiting anything. All right, so this is where I would pause the video or stop the video and start the next video. However, I'm going to address what was brought up in the stream chat. The idea is that we can parse out the Pokemon's ID here and return that instead of trying to return the whole URL. It saves on data that you're throwing out, but also will fix the idea or the it'll fix the URL issue that I brought up before I even need to worry about it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here in this service is let's see. Before we move on, I'm going to create a new object. Yeah, I'm going to create a new list. Let's make it a list of strings. Yeah. Yeah, because, well, yeah. Yep, we'll make a new list of strings. This is where I'm going to actually break away from using their pre-constructed model. Actually, it's not going to be a list of strings. We're going to do a list of Pokemon search results. Oh. What do I want it to be? We want it to be a list of... We don't want to name it something that looks like what we're kicking out. Wait, search response. Poke search response. That's what we kick out. We're going to do Pokemon name and ID. That's what we'll name it. It's just Pokemon name and ID, right? Pokemon simple. We'll just do base. Pokemon base. And we'll name that class base, Pokemon base. Poke base equals new list Pokebase, and then we'll start parsing stuff in a second. Let me create this class. It's not a response. It is a response object. So add class Poke response Pokemon base. This is going to be a class object that contains data on Pokemon search results. Okay, we want this to have a public string Pokemon name. Okay, and then public string Pokemon ID. Alright, which means that we're going to have to change our interface. Our interface is not going to give out this Poke search response. Yeah, it is. It's not going to have a list of named API resources, though. It's going to have a list of Pokemon base. Which I'm going to get an error because... yep, I'm going to get an error because it doesn't assign that type here, which is fine. We'll fix that in a second. We're gonna come up here. Should have an error here, I believe. Yeah, the list return is no longer matching here because we don't want to return a named API resource. We want to return a Pokemon base, which actually follows proper what I was saying. I don't want to use the database object. I want to use my own custom object. I just was being dumb and lazy. Well, not really lazy, but dumb. Not kind of lazy. I'm gonna admit it, kind of lazy. Anyway, going back to this. Go back to our interface. Our interface should work. Services. Now this is where we're gonna change that to Pokemon base. Now all of this should work, except for that, because that is not right. We're gonna do Pokebase. Okay. Alright, so now we have this list of Pokemon bases. It's currently blank. What we need to do is we need to get the ID off the end of the URL. So what's the way we can do that? We can parse the string because it's considered a string, so we could do the URL parse and parse it at the / and then do count -1 because it's 0. Do last. We could do last. Var PokiID equals we need for each of this first. Filtered Pokemon. Let's do a new Pokemon base. Base equals new. Oh, I can't do base. Pbase equals new. Pokemon base. Okay, var. We want the ID to equal. And this is where I'm trying to do this with some link, which is going to be a little bit difficult. I don't need to link it. What I need to do, so ID equals pbase dot Pokemon ID, or not pbase, p dot URL dot parse, string dot parse. No. What is it called? String dot trim. No, string dot split. And we're gonna split it on this. So ID should be dot last. If I'm right, that should work. Now pbase dot, I don't even need to do Pokemon name should equal p dot name, and Pokemon ID should equal the split. I should not need to do any other logic with it. That should be perfect. Should give me the ID that I need out. Should set up this list. And then I just need to do pokebase.add and then add the pbase in there. And that should be that. Should be able to get all of that out. Let's try it. Should be very clean. Should be very quick. Should function correctly. We're not doing that. We're doing this. So Pokemon name, EVE. We should get our 3 Pokemon out. The IDs should be nothing. Why are they nothing? last, break it here. Execute. Okay, so that's not what I want. Pbase. Pokemon ID. Why is URL? Why does it have a slash at the end? That is no fun. Well, there should be. How many objects are going to be in that? Stop. How many objects are going to be in this? Let's do. That there for now. Come back to it. How many objects are going to be in that? Name, try it out. PID is 8 objects. What are those 8 objects? This blink, this should always be the same number of objects. Should always be https //pokiapi.co/api/v2/pokemon// Always. Should always be that. Which means I should be able to do .6. Should work. Let's take out my breakpoint and see if it just runs fine. Should be perfect. That should work. Might do a little bit of logic there, but should be right. It should return the numbers now. 133, 10, 96. Does return the numbers now. Let's see if it does the EV. Gets all 7 of those guys. It does. It gets all of those. So that's actually good. Do I want to return ID as a string or an int? I think I want to return it as an int, and then I can kick it back as an int. No, wait, maybe. Because they don't have a 0 in front of them. Let's do both. Yeah, they don't have zeros in front of them, so I wouldn't be trimming off leading zeros. That would work fine for the path. I'm gonna convert it to an int. So yeah, it's gonna say it can't turn that into an int, which is fine. Let's go to Pokemon base. Int. I don't want Pokemon ID to be a string. I want it to be an int, which should fix everything else. Okay, good. Let's do I'm gonna fix some warnings real quick with nullable enable. And then do one here. Same thing. Oh, that is nullable enable. Oh, this one needs to have equals. Null exclamation. Fix null abilities. EX is declared, never used. I can't I'm not gonna change that. Like I said, you would do a log here, and we will do a log later. And that one doesn't have any async. That's our warnings. Okay, so this should work. This should be a great place to break the video up. This one was a little bit longer because of this change to PokiID instead of returning the URL. Oh, real quick before I close the video off. Because of that, we want to change this URL to string. Or not a string, int. And we don't want to call it URL anymore. We're going to change that to Pokemon ID. Okay. And then we'll go back here to our stuff that uses that, and we're going to change this to int and Pokemon ID. And then same thing in the service, make sure the service matches. We are no longer getting a string, we are getting an int. And again, that is going to be the int of Pokemon ID. Perfect. Okay. Great suggestion. Thanks, Prince. Like I said, I'm going to break the YouTube video here, get it ready. I will be recording another video here in just a minute. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, please join the Discord server. We are looking to grow as much as we can, and hopefully you found this content interesting. Hope to see you in the next video.